Okay, so finally we are in module 6 and this is the last module of this course. So this module we are talking about AI leadership and we are bringing everything that we have learned from module number 1 to 5 in this. So you will translate the frameworks from this course that we have discussed into a personal leadership stance and the practical plan for applying these ideas inside your organization. So this module, as I see it, is it a culmination of everything that we have built across the course. But also, rather than reviewing the frameworks, we are shifting the question from what you know to how you lead. This lecture closes the loop between all of the frameworks that you have learned and the leadership identity you take into your organization. So, the before and after framing on this slide is intentional. Most leaders arrive at AI conversations with intuition. You now have a decision architecture. Let's talk about how that changes how you show up. So, the four traps that you are seeing here are not failures of intelligence, they are understandable defaults. Over deferring feels humble and collaborative. Over trusting vendors feels like giving the benefit of the doubt. Performative enthusiasm feels like demonstrating strategic vision. Reflexive resistance feels like clinical caution. Each one has a logic to it. What changes with this course is that you can now see the trap while you were in it, and you have the alternative language ready. The most important word in the alternative column is I. I own the outcome. I have got 7 questions. That shift from passive to active is the essence of director level AI leadership. So the comparison that you see here is designed to be honest and not flattering. Manager level engagement is real and valuable, and organizations need it. But if you were reading this slide and recognizing yourself entirely in the left column, that's useful information. The difference is not about title or years of experience. It's about where in the process you apply your judgment. A manager applies judgment after the decision is made, reporting up, escalating problems, managing the day to day. A director applies the judgment before and during the decision, setting the conditions, defining the success, naming the owner. The 6 rows that you see here represent 6 specific observable behaviors. Choose one to change this week. The 3 language patterns that you see on this slide come directly from Module 5, the language of governance slide from Lecture 1 of Module 5, I think. What we were doing here is extending that pattern across 3 different organizational contexts. Evidence framing works in executive briefings because it removes the emotional charge and forces the conversation to the data. Risk translation works in cross functional meetings because it converts a subjective concern into a clinical or operational consequence that others can act on. Constructive gates work in vendor negotiations because they signal that you are not obstructing, you are governing. Practice each of this loud out before your next AI meeting. The language becomes unfamiliar at first. It becomes natural very quickly. So, this is the complete decision architecture. 4 stages, around 13 frameworks, 3 artifacts. You have seen each framework individually across the 6 modules. The slide shows you how they nest together. Stage 1, which is the use case, and stage 2, the vendor, feed into artifact 2, the sections 1 and 2. Stage 3, which is implementation, completes artifact 1. Stage 4, the governance, completes artifact 2, section 3. Artifact 3, the 90-day plan, sits above all 4 stages because this is where you commit to applying the architecture to a real initiative. When you leave this course, this slide is the map. Every initiative, AI initiative that comes across your desk can be located in one of these 4 stages. Your job is to know which stage you are in and which framework applies. So, the three components of your personal AI leadership stance are not abstract values, they are operational commitments. Your evaluative standard is the specific condition you will require before sponsoring. Your governance commitment is the specific non negotiables you will insist on leaders on regardless of organizational pressure. Your communication principle is the specific language pattern you will use when raising concerns or pushing back. The question at the bottom of the slide, what will you always do, always insist on, and always be willing to defend, is the question you are answering in lecture 2 when you complete your 90-day action outline. The stance that you articulate here is the foundation of everything that follows.